Was Piero Gasparini racist towards Ademola Lookman in the comment that he made about him recently? Let's get into it. This is Saheed in Nigeria, and here's my perspective. The situation between Ademola Lookman and Piero Gasparini, his coach, because of the match played here, discussions, and especially if you look at how a lot of black people, should I say black people or Africans, and not just only Africans, maybe other people around the world as well, how they have been reacting to it and what the coach said. There has been this issue popping up here and there, and in how people have been talking about it. And I think most Africans, or a lot of Africans, are complaining about the fact that Gasparini said what he said because he's racist. So racism is being thrown up now concerning this issue. Now, probably last season, Victor Osimhen had an issue with Napoli, and I remember that as well, that racism was thrown up and here and there. But in this situation, in this Gasparini and Ademola Lookman situation, I personally do not believe racism has something to do with this. I think what is connected here is slightly different. And this is my perspective and how I've seen it. But I need to say something. Black people and Africans need to lower this victimhood mindset they use each time there are altercations between our black players and their white coaches, either in sports in general, not only in football. We need to dump this victimhood mindset that a lot of Africans and a lot of black people throw up each time that there are issues like this. I can say to an extent, I know probably maybe I will offend some people by saying it, we seem to be too emotive when issues happen, and emotive people may not particularly make good decisions sometimes. So there are quite a lot of things connected to it. Now, the bad media exchange between Lookman and Gasparini had something connected to it, and I think and whatever is connected to it is not racism. It's not racism. For example, let me give you this. In August 2024, Italian football season has already kicked off. Ademola Lookman handed in a transfer request. At the beginning of the season, he handed in a transfer request. Now, that transfer request came totally out of left field for the club. They didn't expect it. And Gasparini himself came and said, this is a situation they never expected. And there was this other guy too, I think, who handed in a transfer. What is his name now? Is it Kupanias or whatever? I've forgotten him now. But Ademola Lookman handed in that transfer request at the beginning of the season, and when he handed that transfer request in, I bet that angered Atalanta. And one other thing is that Ademola Lookman also went ahead to have a verbal agreement, or PSG had a verbal agreement with Ademola Lookman. I think that came without the knowledge of the of Atalanta, and Atalanta did not like that. Now, this single act may have created that bad blood between himself and the coach. That single act may have created that bad blood, because if you look at it, Ademola Lookman almost he was on the verge of leaving Atalanta, and he was an important player for them. So I can bet you that they were not happy about that situation, and including Gasparini is also not happy about that situation. Eventually, Ademola Lookman carried the team for a good while. He played well. He put in a massive shift, and serious performances that were that really showed that he was the leader in the team, and he was carrying the team well, which was very, very good. It was a nice thing. And so what I now observed is that the coach did not forgive him for the act of handing in that transfer request. Since that transfer request issue, the Gasparini did not forgive Ademola Lookman. That's my observation, obviously. So he said, so that penalty, what that penalty merely did was that it just made the bad blood to bubble up. Had Ademola Lookman failed to perform during the season, you would have seen that bad blood by now. You would have seen it way before now. If Ademola Lookman had a bad season before January, they would have offloaded him in January. They would have offloaded him in January. I think that bad blood was already there. So it was not so that bad blood was already there, obviously. Now, someone will ask and someone will say, oh, at least after Ademola Lookman has stayed back and he has played well for the team, at least that, shouldn't the coach forgive and forget that? Or shouldn't Atlanta forgive and forget that? But frankly, I can say it this way. Yes, we can say they can forgive and forget it, but humans are different. For example, Arsene Wenger, an Jose Mourinho, a Terry Venables, a Roy Hodgson, or what's the name of this other one way back, Toshak, and whatever, coaches of the past. Any of these coaches, for example, may forgive, or forget a situation like that. But maybe a Gasparini cannot. We are all humans here. Some people forgive things better than others. So, but maybe a Gasparini cannot. I'm not holding brief for Gasparini here, but the main thing is that we must understand that there are certain things that are, like they will say, there is cause and effect. There are things that would have been done ahead of time that some people will not forget. I remember Mikel Obi, sharing a story. Yeah, Mikel Obi, he shared a story sometimes whereby he said that Alex Ferguson, Sir Alex, never spoke to him again since the day he decided to, play for Chelsea. I remember, we remember the story that came up back then that, he already agreed with Manchester United, that Mikel Obi already agreed with Manchester United, and eventually Chelsea stole him off and stuff like that. It became a row back then. And Mikel Obi said Sir Alex never spoke to him again about that. So obviously, Sir Alex did not forgive Mikel. Now, shall we say Sir Alex was guilty of racism because he did not forgive Mikel? It was. I don't think we can say that. This only happened because Sir Alex probably did not like that situation. He was not happy about it. So if he's not happy about it, we should just know that the fact that it was Mikel Obi that thing happened to, and Sir Alex refused to speak to him, well, it's because the transfer, whatever, went the way Sir Alex did not like. That said, if you look at same way that Sir Alex Ferguson and David Beckham got separated, whereby David Beckham was shipped to, was sold to Real Madrid eventually. It was a bad separation. It was so bad that they said that it was reported that boots were flying. Somebody got wounded on the head because Sir Alex was angry. When that bad separation between Sir Alex Ferguson and David Beckham happened, shall we say that is due to racism as well? So sometimes things happen between coaches and players that has nothing to do with racism. So as black people, as Africans, we shouldn't be, throwing racism out all the time and say, oh, because this happened, it's only racism. No, there are things, there are even mistakes that maybe some of our players too will make. I think any player have a right to say they want to hand in a transfer request and they want to go. Now, if you understand how things work in that industry, a transfer request usually puts clubs off. Usually, clubs don't like transfer requests like that, especially if the player is important. Anyone may not particularly like it. So that could have created that bad blood. So if that type of thing happened between Sir Alex Ferguson and David Beckham and the likes and Mikel Obi and Sir Alex Ferguson, we did not say it was racism back then. We did not say it was racism. It was just the relationship breakdown. So that said, Gasparini was unprofessional in the way he spoke or he singled out Ademola Lookman. Yes, agreed. I agree to that. Maybe he shouldn't have spoken about that. But we are different as a people. We are different. He should have forgiven him if he was still angry. But the way he singled out Ademola Lookman was not really cool. But to just say that he did so because he was racist will be something very disingenuous. It will be disingenuous to accuse him of racism because of this. So let's not throw emotions into this. People are people. Human beings can have altercations. And like they say, it happens. Like they say sometimes, it happens. And if things happen between people like that, we shouldn't just say, oh, it is racism all the time. We shouldn't say so. And so as blacks and as Africans, it's best to understand certain situations and altercations that may happen between some of these players and coaches and it's in sports, because sport is usually an emotional thing sometimes, and the rest of it. And obviously that Atlanta got knocked out of the Champions League is not something that they will be happy about. But I do agree that maybe Gasparini shouldn't have spoken that way, but to accuse him of racism, it will be lazy, if I can put it that way. We shouldn't even throw it will be lazy to kind of accuse him of racism. So fact is, everything is not racism. Everything is not racism. So this is Saheed in Nigeria, and that's my perspective.